右、左、右、右、
Remember when the mecha genre only used CG during budget-demanding, combat-intensive scenes and actually took the time to draw their mechs, instead of dragging and dropping a 3D model onto a 2D plane during, say, instances of casual conversation?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Should you watch Aldnoah.Zero is not an easily tackled inquiry, at least not in the practical yes or no sense that you'd come to expect from the fabled miniseries I captain. But I'm going to try and get us there, to that conclusion. Not in one piece, mind you. We might lose an arm, or a leg, or a subscriber along the way, and that's for the better. Don't worry. No use crying over spilled eggs. Remember when scriptwriters wrote personalities and traits and then implemented those traits and associated mannerisms onto the animated avatar affiliated with the personality in question, thus birthing a character instead of lazily creating an empty husk decorated with cliché? Even Pepperidge Farms can't console you on this one.
Not brazen.
But before that, while we're on the topic of scriptwriters, note that the infamous and highly marketable Gen Urobuchi more or less only wrote the script for the first episode and framework of Aldnoah.Zero. If you are not familiar with this man, he is sometimes referred to as the Urobuchi because the series that he's involved in often have excessive amounts of death and tragedy. His name was used to bring the show to light, and it worked. It certainly grabbed my attention, and the same can be said for the first episode, which was mildly engaging, and I'm not praising Gen Urobuchi as a visionary or anything above spectacular. I mean, the man has his moments. He can certainly be original and throw a good twist here and there, and if Aldnoah.Zero did have anything going for it, from the first episode onward, it was Urobuchi's involvement. Which it loses after the first episode onward because commercialism. The verse Empire descends upon Earth to make peace, but then the princess is assassinated, and then without really any communication between nations whatsoever, the entire planet is engulfed in war because we have to have some kind of explanation as to why there are fighting robots. This is our protagonist Inaho. I will now do my best to describe Inaho in 10 seconds or less.
lukewarm.
Right up in here.
I'm gonna add a little
If you want thing to do,
I have a
so
very
much
low
you could do
tolerance
anything.
level for stupid bullshit.
If you've watched Aldnoah, then you might already have some kind of expectation of what I'm going to say about this roundabout way of creating a character that can push a story forward just because. There's nothing wrong with the strong, silent character archetype. In fact, it's a story trope I'm actually quite fond of. Some of my favorite characters are akin to deadpan walking corpses. The problem with Inaho as a character is that he's an expressionless walking talking corpse without rhyme or reason. Because of this, he can take any action and move the story forward without any rhyme or reason. Because God forbid you actually take the time to justify a character's motivations. Imagine that the first and essentially only signs of humanity shown that many viewers took away from Inaho's character is the fact that he likes eggs. Look, One-chan, they're on sale. Isn't this spectacular? Because absolutely nothing else defines him. Did Urobuchi write that? Was that him? Is that why he admits to not feeling much of a connection with the character? Was he the egg guy? The closest we ever get to an explanation as to why Inaho is the way he is by off-screen exposition between Inaho's sister and a third party during the 9th episode, where she goes on to say that he may seem expressionless and cold, but has very subtle changes in personality when around the Martian princess. It's a sweet exchange and leads the viewer to think that he may be a deeper character than we are led to believe. And then after that, he just devolves back into generic, I'm the best mecha pilot because plot convenience. You know what the problem with pitting old and busted robots with obvious physical limitations against new and shiny robots with magic science powers is when the main cast uses the very same old and busted robots against the super robots that continuously shred the old and busted robots to pieces during every other action scene? Or did I just answer my own question? You see, when the first super robot, or cataphract as they call them, is defeated by Inaho and crew, it's actually quite clever the way they go about it. He's like the Bill Nye the Science Guy of anime, Inaho is. He always finds a way. Why, is he a valedictorian? Is he in gifted classes? Why is everyone else's plan just to either run from the robots or run at the robots head on? Does the Earthen military just collectively lose all of its strategic fortitude in the near future to the point that the average high schooler can outplan them militaristically? Anyway, then just about every plan Inaho comes up with after the first cataphract is dumb and peppered with insulting levels of convenience. You know, at first I thought I missed some kind of key plot point, some kind of informative piece of Inaho's character as to why he's better than everyone else. And then I found out, it's not that he's better. It's just that everyone else wants to die. See, he doesn't do anything particularly significant in terms of uniqueness. He just moves, and everyone else just stands there and embraces death, hoping to be released from this purgatorial mediocrity. I think at its most basic level, Aldnoah achieves its goal as a fun and tragic mecha adventure. And you like fun, who doesn't? That's not the question. The question is, at what level of bullshit do you abandon the fun boat? Like, for instance, we're told that the princess's body double that was killed in the assassination attempt was placed there because the princess felt sick, and the person in charge of the peace parade suggested she sit the car right out. Then the body double got killed. Then the world thought the princess was dead, and then the princess spends the rest of the show trying to tell the world she's alive. Why didn't the guy who told her to sit the car right out like phone Cruteo and tell him, yeah, she's not dead. We put a body double in there. She was feeling sick. Oh, well, no need for war then, I guess. And then when she got there, she could have been like, yeah, it was the Martians all along. It wasn't even Earth. Demo, maybe the guy was in the car when it exploded. You don't know. That's the problem. I don't know. All it would have taken was one line from this irritating little cunt saying, oh, and also the guy I just mentioned died in the explosion. Demo, maybe Cruteo wanted war, so it wouldn't even matter. Good. No inference of ulterior motives can be made out of his character because nothing suggests that he wants war for the sake of war. Only that he seems genuinely distressed the princess has been killed. See, I'm pretty tolerant, but I jump ship right about here, though. What? Demo, look, you always do this over-analytical, nitpicky, McDicky bull malarkey. Why can't you just ignore these negative aspects you've detailed thus far and enjoy the good and memorable segments for what they are? Oh my god, you are so right. Do you hear that? If you ignore the bad parts of shows, then they'll be good. Because then all you have left is the good parts. Look on the bright side. How come no one else is doing this? Holy shit, literally every show in existence is a 10 out of 10 now. This is revolutionary. I'm gonna go rewatch Overnight Sister. Why haven't we thought of this before? Oh, because I'm not a tool, that's why. I forgot. And for a minute there, I thought I might be able to fit in. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, I can be pretty cynical. Sometimes you have genuine moments of hype and fun with this series. And a lot of that hype has to do with Hiroyuki Sawano. God bless his soul. And then at others, you stop and realize that someone took the time to write and submit. And then the 9-year-old girl drove the Humvee to the back of the open plane hatch, and the princess jumped in. Probably with a little doodle of Tom Cruise in the right-hand corner. Aldnoah is still a mech anime and celebrates itself like one. There are even a couple references to classics in the same genre, and that's always entertaining to some extent. It's why the genre continues to persist. I don't make it a habit to watch shows I don't feel invested in, and there was always that lingering desire to see what happens next at the end of each week's airing episode. I won't deny it. So then the question again becomes, do the ends justify the means? What, you mean the end of the show? Oof! Don't even get me started with this shit. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. I hate you for killing the princess. I loved her. Oh, hey, man, what's up? I was just trying to save you, princess. You know, make the world a better place, I guess. I don't really know why I'm here. Bang. I hate you for... Am I jealous? Okay, I guess I'm just throwing a tantrum at this point. Man, who could have predicted this tragedy? What a shocking conclusion. You see, I feel the finality of Aldnoah makes a great study for what the entirety of the series suffers from. Lack of creative explanation, justification, and no believable consequence. It's almost as if a somewhat talented writer wrote key elements and points interconnecting the story, and then someone less productive came in and awkwardly bridged the gaps. Another good indicator of this is in episode 7, when Inaho and Slane, the other kind of main character I guess, meet for the first time, and their conflict is foreshadowed when Inaho shoots him down and says, It should have been a clever, even poetic scene if done correctly. Instead, it just ends up making no sense. He did nothing but swoop down and help you. There's no realistic reason to shoot him down. Sure, they're not just gonna trust each other 100% right off the bat, but this is forced tension. Also, why didn't anyone on the Deucalion confront Inaho on this? Oh hey, what happened to the guy that saved us? Well, you see, I shot him down and branded him an enemy. Why did you do that? We could have questioned him. We could have done, seriously, anything other than what you just did. but I guess you're the main character, so just do whatever you want. You can feel the final episode trying its hardest to emulate Urobuchi's style, while at the same time remaining ambiguous, and it's almost comedic in that sense. Bang! Oh man, the princess is dead, maybe. Why'd her head tilt like that? She get shot in the eye? Who knows? She was shot in the chest earlier, so she's probably... Bang! Oh man, Inaho is dead. Maybe. He did the head turn thing too. Think maybe he was shot in the eye or something. Just grazed his face. Who knows? Let's see how the Blu-rays sell first, and then we'll decide what to do. Because fuck commitment, that shit's scary. There's a lot more I want to say about Aldnoah, but this is already a pretty lengthy video. There's a lot more I'd like to say about its characters, and how I don't really care for any of them because of how generic they are, with the exception of this guy, whose mental trauma actually makes for a pretty interesting side story that could have, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, could have been delivered better. And this kind of summarizes the whole show. Wasted potential, I guess. Like, if you don't care about that, if you just want to watch it and not think too hard about what's happening, it can be enjoyable, and it's not difficult to feel the emotional capacity for this final scene I was just making fun of. Especially if you're someone who miraculously liked the characters at this point, and the following silent credits afterward actually impressed me. I'm a sucker for artsy stuff like that, so hey, I give them props in that department. But for me, Aldnoah was a huge letdown. I guess that's the gist of it. More like Aldnoah.Zero out of 10, right? Hey, talk of writing was a big element of this review. Did you know I write? Go check out my novellas over at Amazon. Also, check the Facebook. That hasn't been taken down yet. Also, twitch.tv/DemolitionD. This is fucking stupid. Let's talk about things that I don't feel like dealing with right now. Number one. Any form of what's happening. Video game. God damn it. And as always, take this review with a grain of salt. Not everyone has the same taste. You always gotta factor in your own personal involvement. You still wanna watch Aldnoah after all that I just said? Be my guest. Just remember to enjoy yourself.